All right, let's jump right in. Something big is happening. A major federal investigation into foreign-made crypto mining hardware is completely shaking up how we in America think about our digital infrastructure. We're going to break down how this huge national security alert is creating a brand new reality and, how one American company is stepping up to the plate.
So, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll get into the security alert itself. Then, we'll unpack the real problems with all that foreign hardware. After that, you'll see why going American-made isn't just a nice idea anymore, it's a must. And finally, we'll get to the good stuff, the actual solution that BlockQuarry has built to solve this exact problem.
So what exactly started this whole industry-wide shockwave? Well, it all goes back to this critical federal security investigation. And trust me, it's completely rewriting the rulebook for anyone in the US who's into crypto mining or really any kind of high-performance computing.
And get this, the investigation has a name that sounds like it's straight out of a spy movie, and for good reason. It's called Operation Red Sunset. And look, this isn't just some routine checkup. Operation Red Sunset is a full-blown investigation by the Department of Homeland Security. We're talking bipartisan support here, looking into whether this foreign hardware could be used to spy on us, or even worse, sabotage critical parts of our infrastructure. This is a huge, flashing red alert.
Okay, so what did they actually find? What's got the government so spooked? Let's unpack the really high-stakes risks that come with depending on foreign-made hardware for such a critical industry.
And the threats they found? They are incredibly specific and, frankly, pretty scary. They discovered this hardware could be manipulated from afar, for surveillance, or even used to mess with the US power grid. Now, think about that for a second. These massive crypto farms are plugged directly into our energy infrastructure. So a vulnerability there is a vulnerability everywhere. Investigators found, and I'm quoting them directly here, several disturbing vulnerabilities baked right into the firmware and chips. This creates a terrifying risk that these machines could be controlled from another country, completely sidestepping US laws and oversight.
And hey, if the whole national security threat wasn't enough to get your attention, there's a massive financial hammer about to drop on American operators. We are talking about a potential $100 million in tariff liabilities for companies that built their entire operations on this foreign hardware. CC, it's a double whammy. Your systems could be a security risk, and your business could be financially crushed.
So you've got this perfect storm of security risks and financial penalties, and it's forced a huge pivot in the industry. The whole conversation has changed, really, and it's all leading to one single, inescapable conclusion.
So here's the bottom line. For any industry that's tied into our critical infrastructure, like the power grid, going with domestic manufacturing, well, it's not just a preference anymore. It has become an absolute strategic necessity. There's really no other way to look at it.
And BlockQuarry's CEO, Greg Boehmer, he really hits the nail on the head. He says this federal investigation just confirms what his company has been saying all along. You simply cannot build America's digital future on foreign hardware that's potentially riddled with backdoors. It just doesn't work.
And that brings us right to the solution, a platform engineered from the ground up to solve this very challenge. So let's introduce the BLQCBuster.
And here it is. This is the hardware we're talking about. The BLQBuster isn't just another piece of gear. It's a real, physical, tangible answer to this massive strategic problem. And the key part? It's designed and built entirely in America to make absolutely sure there are no hidden surprises.
And just look at how this solution directly tackles every single risk we've talked about. The threat of espionage and backdoors? Gone, because there's no foreign firmware. The dependency on foreign supply chains? Not an issue, with a 100% American life cycle. Worried about downtime and unreliability? The modular chip design solves that. And what about support? You get a US-based team. It's literally a point-by-point takedown of the entire problem.
But BlockQuarry knew something crucial. A secure front door doesn't mean much if all the windows are wide open, right? Real security is about more than just the physical box. I mean, having secure hardware that's running on insecure foreign software, that's still a massive vulnerability. And that's exactly why they built an entire domestic ecosystem.
This is where BLQCsmith Town comes into the picture. Think of it as the software and service layer that completes that security promise. It's a whole suite of American-made management tools, making sure the entire operational stack, we're talking from the silicon chips themselves all the way to the dashboard you look at, is totally secure and free from any foreign interference.
So let's look at how this software basically builds a complete defensive wall around your operations. You get real-time monitoring, you can manage firmware remotely, it has predictive diagnostics to stop failures before they happen, and you can manage your whole fleet from one central place. This completely flips the script on maintenance, taking it from being reactive to being proactive.
And listen, this isn't just some idea for the future. It's happening right now. The second-gen hardware, it's already in testing and hitting all its performance targets. The sales team is out there right now building a pipeline of qualified, interested operators, and the whole ecosystem is set for its big formal debut at the Mining Disrupt conference in Miami in July 2026. The momentum here is absolutely real.
So when you take everything into account, the federal investigation, the huge security and financial risks, and now the rise of a complete homegrown solution, it all leaves us with one critical question. In a world with growing geopolitical tensions and cyber threats, is an American-made foundation for our digital future no longer just an option, but the only real path forward?